Hello, welcome back. Let's do a mailbag today, since we didn't have time to fit one in last month. Dear Frater, about 3 years ago I began studying the occult and occasionally practiced the LBRP. I wasn't really able to understand many of the older occultic texts. My life was not what I wanted. I had an obsession with someone and I had the most toxic relationship in my life. I was wrathful, prideful, and greedy. I moved back into my parents' house and I felt like giving up on life for a while. When I came across your channel, which I sent you a message about on Twitter, I was amazed how things really started to make sense. I discovered you around January of 2018. I began practicing my standard ritual battery every day and throwing in the occasional rose cross. Things really started changing for me. Even though life did not seem to be throwing things at my feet at first, I was still happy and positive. My whole perception of life was destroyed and rebuilt in the image of your teachings. I got a job that I love and would still go to even if I was not paid. I moved out of my parents' house and into my own place. I have a dedicated room for my temple and I could feel how everything is in balance. I made it happen. Yes, I already practiced magic, yes, but it was your advice and teachings that inspired me with the discipline and understanding. None of this would have been possible without you. You gave me hope that one day I might be like one of your testimonials, and now it is manifest, as I have everything I could ever need and have managed to remove those emotional blocks with the person mentioned. Which, if this is ever read on one of the mailbags, let me just say that when the block is finally removed, you will know. Yes, you will. As you would when a levee breaks. And it will feel unbelievably powerful. I cried, I loved, and more than anything, I let go. You gave me that, Frater Xavier. I will never forget it. Isn't that fantastic? This is why I do what I do. Having someone who is about ready to give up on life completely turn it around and now is enjoying life, going from having to move back in with his parents to having his own place, a job that he loves, plenty of money, and most importantly, being happy. Because as much as we talk about money on this channel, because it is important to help free you up, it still won't buy you happiness. If you want to be happy, you have to remove those emotional blockages, which we have covered. It's one of the most important videos on my channel, but one that's underrated because it's very difficult to do. And I'm proud of this person for doing it. Now they have the knowledge of exactly how they're supposed to feel. I love how he added having the discipline in there. We really need to have a lesson on discipline. Discipline will make the difference between success and failure in many cases. I want to thank this person for writing in. Tremendous job. Keep it up. This is what it's all about for me. There's no better feeling than helping lift someone out of the pit of despair that they're in. So thank you for sharing your testimonial. Where do you even pick these questions from? Well, YouTube, Patreon, and Twitter mostly. Some, like the one I just read, were from email. Email is mostly reserved for customer service. However, if you have a testimonial like the one I just read, I will make an exception for those. I really need to make an FAQ because I get a lot of the same questions, and I'm sorry you had to waste your question on asking where to ask questions. Hey, Frater, I'm sorry if I'm wasting your time reading this. No, this is what I do. I'm completely stuck in my life, and I came to the point that I now actually want to kill myself because I'm such a loser and I have things that I can't get rid of. I've completely lost myself to the point that I'm socially weird and awkward, and I don't recognize myself anymore. Well, being social is overrated. Well, let me put it this way. It's more important when you're young and less important of a priority when you're older. I mean, if I could see friends once a month, that's a lot. A few times a year is more like it. Because when you're older, people have their own families, they have kids, their kids have soccer games, their work schedules conflict, and it's hard to get everyone's schedule to line up. But that's what the holidays are for, aren't they? He continues, I have complications like brain fog, snow vision, Alice in Wonderland syndrome, zero energy, and I most of the time can't push myself to even speak about fun things. I can't look straight in the air anymore because my eyes start to itch then. Many floaters are in my eye bothering me, and I see small moving light points flying like mosquitoes when I look in the air and when bright light comes into my eye. I'm just completely clueless anymore what to do to get rid of these things. Magic. And I mean, that sounds cliche. Oh, the magic guy's going to recommend doing magic. Yes, because it works. The previous testimonial where the guy was talking about how he turned everything around for him. He used magic. That's what did it. That's what you need to do. Now, because you're so down and out, I would not recommend anything too complex, such as the self-initiation course, at least not yet. I would have you start with the simple stuff, such as sigil and candle magic. I have programs on both of those, the fire and water program and manifesting reality. But you don't have to buy my programs if you don't mind doing your own research. It is not hidden knowledge. You can easily look these things up for yourself. It's just that my programs are how I do things. But they're not required. I would also have you do a 7-day uncrossing ritual. And I would have you do this because you mentioned feeling like you have something attached to you. So do the 7-day uncrossing. I have a video on it. You can also look up details online. Now also, because you are in scarcity at the moment, you will probably have a tendency to want to use magic for things you probably shouldn't be using it for. Such as getting the hot girl at school. But if you really wanted the hot girl at school, you would use the magic upon yourself first. Using magic to improve yourself, your social skills, your confidence, solving your health problems. So focus the magic inward, and the outward will change along with it. See, that's the real secret of magic that no one else is telling you. As within, so without. So change the within, and the outward will change as well. That's why I get such great testimonials from those who actually listen to what I'm saying, follow my directions as instructed, and put in the work. As for having zero energy, you want to make sure you're getting proper nutrition. Taking a multivitamin and mineral supplement is a must, but it's also a symptom of you just being down and out. And an emotional blockage. If you get as emotionally blocked up as I'm thinking that you are, you get very apathetic. Oh, what's the point in even living anymore? Right? You thought about killing yourself. You can't even think of anything that's even fun. That is an emotional block, brother. You need to break out the old plunger and have at it. You are holding on to some heartache and trauma unnecessarily. Remember, it's not your fault. You're just going to have to learn how to let go. So watch my video on how to remove emotional blockages. You can also target your magic at removing your emotional blockages. As for health issues in your eyesight, again, magic. And see a doctor. There's a lot of misconceptions in magic where they think, oh, health magic, all of a sudden you're just healed instantly. And that can happen. But more often than not, it will help you get some affordable insurance so that you can go to the doctor who will then take care of it. Your magical results are going to seem like a coincidence most of the time through synchronicity. Now, from your picture, which I've blurred out, you look like you're a skinny little guy. It's hard to tell without your whole body in frame. But if you're long and skinny, you may very well have an ectomorphic body type, which makes it very difficult to put on muscle. So if you're an ectomorph, or if anyone listening is an ectomorph and they want to put on muscle and they're having a hard time doing so, then I recommend the book Scrawny to Brawny on Amazon. You can download it right to your Kindle reader. The ectomorph body type has a hard time gaining muscle because their muscles are literally starving, because their metabolisms are so high. You know, the kind of person that can eat and eat and eat and never gain a pound. Well, that's what you need to do, except you need to do it with protein. You have to take in protein every 3 hours in order to supply the muscles for growth. You know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he eats every 3 hours because he's so big and has to feed those muscles. Every 3 hours he's eating something, a protein bar or something. I remember him saying so in an interview once, and I'm like, that was in the book. So definitely check that one out, because working out will get your energy levels up, put some muscle on you, and then you can get that hot girl at school. He's going to be like, oh, I did everything you said. I did the magic, I put on muscle, and I got the hot girl at school. I'm looking forward to that testimonial. The most important thing you can do is start. So you have a lot of work ahead of you. You need to get started now, regardless of whether you feel like it or not. You need to push through it. It mattered to you enough to write into old Frater asking what to do. So now that I've told you, you need to follow through. Thanks for writing in, and I do wish you the best. I'm confused about when you said that if we think about something a lot, we attract it, but then you said that to manifest things, you have to forget it. Yes. But just thinking about something isn't going to do much. It needs to be impressed upon your subconscious mind. And once it has been impressed upon the subconscious mind, then you need to forget about it so that the subconscious mind can take over and manifest it for you. So how do you impress what you want to manifest on the subconscious mind? Magic. That would be the easiest way. But even if you're just thinking about something all the time, that could do it. But at some point, you're going to have to let it out of your mind and not think about it in order for the subconscious to be able to manifest it. If you're literally thinking about it 24/7, it's never going to manifest. Remember when I talk about lonely people, they always want to meet somebody, but they never do because they're always thinking about it. It's not until they stop thinking about it that they all of a sudden bump into the person they've been looking for their whole life, like magic, when they least expect it. There's a lot of paradoxes in magic because just like the law of polarity, you have to balance in the middle. And speaking of balance, greetings, Frater. I have a question that is a slightly more academic nature, but is really muddling my head, and no amount of research or contemplation is helping me. That is why I'm turning to you, hoping you can shed some light. I am currently following the Golden Dawn grade system. For the past 6 months, I have been in the grade of Theurgus, and before that I was in Zelator for about a year. As I understand, Theurgus relates to air, and thus to the conscious mind. Why then does it fall on Yesod? It is the Sephiroth of the subconscious and has all the water correspondences. Similarly, why does Practicus, the water grade, fall on Had, which has all the air correspondences and relates to the critical mind? I know this sounds trivial, but it's really been eating at me as I try to correlate my experiences in each grade to the tree of life. Zelator made sense. Is it simply a shortcoming of the Golden Dawn system? Because it seems the grades don't line up with the correct Sephiroth. Thank you for hearing me out. I hope you will answer. No, it's not a shortcoming of the Golden Dawn system. Now, you didn't mention the book, but I assume you're taking the self-initiation course, Kabbalah, Magick, and the Great Work of Self-Transformation. If not, you're doing something similar. Everything in self-initiation is about balance. You're not just working with Yesod in the grade of Theurgus, the grade of air. You're working with Binah as well. You're invoking and banishing Saturn, and you're invoking and banishing the moon. Saturn is serious and focused, yet narrow-minded because of it, while the moon is more daydreamy but illusionary, yet contains a lot of creativity. Thought does have correlation to the astral plane, and working with these energies will help balance out your mental faculties. If you're too serious and narrow-minded, then the moon will help loosen you up. But if you're too daydreamy and got your head up in the clouds all the time, then Saturn will help bring you back down to Earth. You asked, why does Practicus, the elemental grade of water, work with the Sephiroth of Had? Well, in order to balance something out, you need a counterbalance. Had is the Sephiroth of Mercury, which is logical. If someone is overly emotional, they're going to need to work with the Sephiroth of Had. They're going to need to be more logical and less emotional. Everything is about striking that balance. So keep at it. Make sure you do your meditations fully, not just for 5 minutes. Do the full 20 minutes. And thanks for the question. Greetings, Frater. I've really enjoyed the Laws of Magic series and wanted to thank you for the work you're doing. I've purchased several of your courses and all have been wonderful adjuncts to my magical practice. Your Mystery School series was initially what got me hooked. The information about polarization and depolarization in magic has been helpful, especially in the polarizing times we live in. In addition, I've done several money jars, and I'm happy to report that I found myself turning work away, and am now focusing on creating passive income and carving out more time for myself. What has been the most interesting is occasionally experiencing the old me through people who are still holding that version in their consciousness. This shows me how much things in my life have changed, and it also points out the challenges that other people's perspectives can present in defining ourselves and our paths. I don't want to be seen that way. The days of eking out a living are gone, and better days are here. And I no longer need anyone's pity about how I lost a job, nearly lost my house, yada yada. Last summer's Mars retrograde was quite profound for me, so I did the uncrossing ritual. This experience was pretty amazing. As an experiment, I asked a friend who is an energy worker to check in each day and record what my chakras and overall energies were doing. She shared the results with me after I finished and said there was one point where she had never seen a pendulum do what it did. That same day was pretty profound for me, too. Not quite a year ago, I was asked by some acquaintances to teach them Wicca. I found the info in this course to be extremely useful in presenting perspectives that many people haven't thought about and are often not presented clearly, if at all, in books on witchcraft. I referred my students to the Mystery School videos, too. Again, I want to express my gratitude for this work, Frater. Thank you, and keep it coming. Blessings of the highest and best. Hey, that's great. See, that's just awesome when people can make that breakthrough. And she really said it best with presenting perspectives that aren't readily available, because that's what it takes. It takes tweaking your perspective. The way you look and think about things makes all the difference. And yes, I do know about doing all the work and going through the transformation process and then having old friends and acquaintances thinking you're the same person when you're not even close to the same person. So yeah, I know about that. Aren't they in for a shock? Thank you for writing in and sharing your testimonial. I do appreciate it. Thank you. And that will about do it for today. I thank everyone for writing in and all of you for listening. Follow me on Twitter at Frater Xavier and consider joining us on Patreon, where all patrons get early access to Mystery School videos before they're available elsewhere. Like and share if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care.